Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Junius Fifth III with Neuse, and this is the Neuse Sports Show. I know things are a little different. I'm sitting in a different position, and I've got a special guest that's filling in for Brian Hanks tonight, Graham Hill. How are you doing, man?
Yes, I'm not the legendary Brian Hayes, but I am Graham Hill, back in the flesh here at Neuse and Junius. It's very good to be back here on the show with you.
And it has been an absolute wonder. We talked about the times that we had the Flourish Show podcast and everything, and now here we are doing the Neuse Sports Show.
Absolutely. Like I said, thank you for letting me be a part of your show now. You and Brian do a great job every week of previewing games and hit on games that have been monumental throughout the week, and I'm excited to do my part this week, in this week's show.
Well, you know how you can start it off? By reading some of our sponsors. I mean, again, for a show like this, we have to thank our sponsors for allowing us to put this together. So you can go ahead and start off with the first one.
Absolutely. Let's get to it. We want to thank Lenore Community College. LCC's Quick Job Program provides training so you can get to work in less than 6 months. And because LCC partners with area employers, you can find not only a job, but a new lifelong career. Jobs currently in demand include heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, electric wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding. Tuition assistance may be available as well as nationally recognized credentials. It's a new year and a new you. Let LCC empower you to get the job and career you've always hoped for. To learn about quick jobs, call 252-527-623, extension 714, or enroll at lenorecc.edu/quickjobs. We also want to thank KC Crop Insurance. They are here to serve all your crop insurance needs. With over 50 years of combined experience, they take pride in excellent customer service. Give the KC Crop Insurance Service Team a call at 252-522-9613. Again, that's 252-522-9613. And tell them that Neuse sent you.
Also, we want to bring up the SM3 Summit. So if you're an entrepreneur or social media manager or marketing professional, you need to be at the SM3 Social Media Summit here in Kinston on October 5th. We have speakers from across the state who will talk to you about how to go viral with your videos, how to sell, market your brand, create a social media calendar, and more. So go to sm3summit.com. That's sm3summit.com. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the Neuse newsletter, please go ahead and do that. All you have to do is go to neusenews.com. Click that little subscribe button, and at 7 a.m. you'll have an email highlighting all the events that go on throughout the day, whether it be news, sports, entertainment, and everything in between. So just go to neusenews.com and just subscribe to the Neuse newsletter. Now, Graham, I got to tell you, man, it's been kind of quiet out here without you being around. So just kind of, what have you been up to, and just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, of course, this past summer, I started a job at Camp Donnelly, a camp that I grew up going to for many of my childhood throughout the summer, and I was a camp counselor there for about 5 weeks. And recently, not even 2 weeks, tomorrow will actually be 2 weeks, I had jaw surgery up at Shriners Hospital in Chicago. So if you're looking at it not get punched in the face, I am still a little bit swollen from that surgery. But, Genius, you know me, probably one of the closest people here at Neuse News. I'm not going to stay out of the action long, so I'm happy to be back here. But, that's pretty much just been what I've been doing since I took a break this past May. But I guess I can officially say that I will be returning to Neuse News this year to do some more football games. And, of course, basketball season. I'm just very excited to get back to work with you guys.
Hey, we're definitely happy to have you. So let's kind of take a look at some of the games that happened on last week. We'll go ahead and start off with Kinston versus Jacksonville. Kinston fell 14-7 to the Cardinals in a very tough game there. And then North Lenore defeated Southern Wayne in a thrilling 14-13 game where a blocked extra point proved to be the difference as the Hawks improved to 3-0. And we'll talk about their game against East Carter Red that happened on Tuesday. Moving on along with the list, South Lenore took on Princeton, and the Bulldogs defeated the Blue Devils by a score of 48-15. And then Randall Parrott, behind 235 yards and 36 carries from Trey McLawhorn, defeated St. David's 54-40 in a shootout. Also, Bethel Christian, they improved to 3-0 on the season after defeating Hobgood Northeast Academy. Actually switched that around, Northeast Hobgood Academy 60-22. And then Green Central got their first win in the Jay Wilson era by defeating Eastern Wayne by a score of 8-6. Other games across the area, Aiden Griffin defeated Farmville Central by a score of 40-12, and then Jones Sr. fell to Union 58-6. So just kind of going off of those, what's the first thing that really pops out at you?
Well, there's a lot of exciting games that took place this past Friday, it sounds like, especially that North and North Southern Wayne game coming down to the absolute wire, and then that thrilling extra point kick that was blocked by Chris Russell to seal that game for the Hawks, help them improve to 3-0, and then Parrott Academy got revenge against St. David's. Of course, we were at that game last year.
Right.
That was one of our Neuse game of the week, and it looked totally different last year as St. David's, I should say, ran all over the field against Parrott, but this year Parrott totally flipped it on them, and their run game looked to serve them in that win, which was a quality game by Trey McLaurin. I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
Without question. I remember last year, St. David's beat Parrott 60-22 behind 7 touchdowns from Ty Good. Ty Good graduated last year, and Randall Parrott did more than take advantage. But it looks like we actually have a guest video coming in. We had Brian Hanks talk with South and North football coach Jeremy Joyner. So we'll see what we have here.
Hello there, this is Brian Hanks with Neuse. I'm sitting here with South Lenoir head football coach Jeremy Joyner. His Blue Devils on Friday night will take on the Spring Creek Gators in a very big game down here at South Lenoir. And Coach, catch us up a little bit. We haven't had a chance to talk this year. Your team is 1-2 coming to this game. It's been sort of an up and down ride so far, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. It's definitely been a roller coaster this year. Played North Duplin early, and that was the first game we run a new offense and made a ton of mistakes. Played okay against Jones, then turned around and played against Princeton. I feel like we played okay at times against Princeton, but they're pretty good. And I feel like Princeton in our league could probably win a game or two in our conference for sure, even though they're a 1A school. So it's been a growth process. It's been a baby steps, but we feel like we're getting better each and every day.
Well, very good. Coach, highlight some of those players. Who are some of the guys that have really stood out for you so far this year that have helped lead you guys to this 1-2 record?
So far, first one I want to give credit to is, Coco and Kojo Mizubupo. Kojo got hurt against the Princeton game. He'll be out for a few weeks, but he's been very good for us defensively, as is his brother. Jonathan Haddock on the defensive side as well has been very, very good for us. We put him in multiple positions. He's able to do it. He's just a great football player. Offensively, we've been able to really – Joseph Cobb has been able to score some touchdowns for us. He's done very, very well. Cannon Davis had a good start to the year. And John, he's a sophomore, learning new offense. He's thrown it well, still got some growing to do, still got some learning, but overall we've been very pleased with his development.
What have you learned about your team so far this year, Coach?
This year, so far about our team, they really, really want to learn. We've had practices where we get done and they're wanting to come here and look at film. And they really desire to be coached up. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. They want to learn it. They want to understand it. And they just want to be better. And, we take that, we build on it each day, hopefully become a better team afterwards.
A traditional rival that you guys have in Spring Creek. Not that far away from right here where we're sitting in Deep Run right now. How big is this rivalry? You've only played each other 12 times. It's still a relatively new school over there in Seven Springs, but how big is this rivalry becoming between the Gators and the Blue Devils?
I would say with some of the younger guys, I think it's a little bit more bigger than some of the ones who've been here before because they never had opportunity to play Spring Creek. But it's the closest school to us geographically, I believe, on the map. And then there are two football programs that are pretty much in the same spot where they're at. And I think it's one that you really want to win because it's good for the kids, good for the area, and it's definitely some bragging rights on those guys down there between here and Wayne County.
Well, very good. Well, let's talk about keys to the victory in the game against Spring Creek this week. What do you guys need to do well to defeat a Gators team that's coming into the game with a 1-3 record?
We've definitely got to block well up front. This will be our first game that we've had our offensive line the same from the previous game due to injuries and things. We got to tackle well defense. We got to get better at that, and we just got to execute on both sides of the ball. And that's if we can do those things, we feel like we'll be okay.
Well, very good. Well, listen, South North head football coach Jeremy Joyner here joining us here on the show this week. Thank you so much. Good luck against Spring Creek Friday night.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you very much.
See, Brian Hanks may not have been here with us in the studio, but he's definitely with us in spirit.
Brian Hanks always doing a fantastic job. Even though he's not here, still going out in the community and getting interviews from coaches that we need.
And Jeremy Joyner, of course, South North's head coach. They take on a Spring Creek team this Friday, but, Jeremy, he's definitely done a great job with South Illinois' program as they try to get their first playoff spot in a while.
Now, I'll tell you what, just from seeing them last year, you're starting to see that the competition level is building each year out there with that program. Of course, they had that historic win against North Lenore in the Pigskin Bowl game. And then this year, South Lenore, they've been competitive in some games. They had that great game against Jones Senior. In fact, it was their second highest scoring game in program history, if I'm not mistaken, right?
63-0.
And then they go up against a 1-3 Spring Creek team this Friday that really there's a lot of room to improve there for the South Lenore Blue Devils team. I know they lost to Princeton this past Friday, but I think Jeremy Joyner's team's in a good spot. They have a good game that they can capitalize on some of the mistakes that they made in that Princeton game and hopefully come out with another win and keep improving the competition and that win record out there.
Without question. I mean, we've definitely had the opportunity to see a lot of history. And, of course, you as a proud North Lenore graduate, you're seeing a lot of history right now. For the first time in 39 years, North Lenore is 4-0, and they defeated East Carteret by a score of 47-0. And you were at that game, so kind of tell me what you saw out there.
Well, as an alumnus, first I just want to say you can definitely tell there's a culture change out there in the swamp. It seems like the leadership this year on that North Lenore football team by that senior class is just phenomenal. They're doing a great job of really challenging their teammates each week and in practices and making them compete every day against each other. And that really showed last night for the Hawks as Michael Moore. And one thing that really impressed me is that North Lenore was able to secure a 32-yard field goal that was kicked by Michael Moore. But one thing that really stood out was NL had 8 players with at least 2 rushing attempts. And, of course, Malik Jones had 8 carries, 113 yards. Jaquan Shackelford had 3 carries for 76 yards. And Najee Kuntz had 7 carries for 58 yards, and each had 2 rushing touchdowns. So one thing that's been strategically going well for North Lenore and that they're doing effectively is running the ball. They're doing a great job of taking time off the clock with each of their possessions, and their defense has also shown up good. They're forcing early 3-and-outs and getting the other team's defense back out there and really wearing them down. And Jim Collins is just playing smart football right now, and it's really benefiting the Hawks.
All right, well, the Hawks had the opportunity to go 5-0 for the first time in program history as they go on the road against Eastern Wayne. But before we get into our games of the week, let's go ahead and shout out the sponsors one more time.
Absolutely. Once again, we want to thank Lenore Community College. Quick job programs that provide training so you can get to work in less than 6 months. And because LCC partners with area employers, you can find not only a job, but a new lifelong career. Jobs currently in demand include heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, electrical wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding. Tuition assistance may be available as well as nationally recognized credentials. It's a new year in the EU. Let LCC empower you to get the job and career you've always hoped for. To learn about quick jobs, call 252-527-6223, extension 714, or enroll at lenorecc.edu/quickjobs. KC Crop Insurance is here to serve all your crop insurance needs. With over 50 years of combined experience, they take pride in excellent customer service. Give the KC Crop Insurance service team a call at 252-522-9613. Again, that's 252-522-9613, and tell them that Neuse sent you.
Also, there's the SM3 Summit that is coming October 5th. So if you're an entrepreneur, a social media manager, or marketing professional, you need to be at that summit, which again, October 5th. Right here in Kinston. There's going to be speakers from across the state that will talk about how to go viral with your videos, how to sell, market your brand, create a social media calendar, and more. So go to sm3summit.com for more information. That's sm3summit.com. And if you haven't subscribed to the Neuse newsletter, I don't know what you're doing. Just after this program's over, go to neusenews.com, hit that subscribe button, and you will get a free email at 7 a.m. in the morning of all the headlines right here locally in Lenore County, a little bit of Jones, a little bit of Greene, a little bit of Pitt with Aden and the Grifton area. So, again, neusenews.com. Just go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these games for this upcoming week on Friday, starting with Kinston at Southern Wayne. Kinston is 2-2, fell to Jacksonville 14-7 last week, going up against Southern Wayne, who lost that heartbreaker against North Lenore 14-13. The last time these two teams met, Kinston won 36-0 on September 15, 2017. And Graham, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, Kinston has nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to that Jacksonville game. They went toe-to-toe with one of the top 3A teams in the state. And right now they're on their backup quarterback, which is Gooden. And, Kinston, I think they're in a good spot right now. Honestly, a lot of people had this team going undefeated once again. Some people were probably thinking, oh, they've lost 2 games already. They're starting to doubt them, but I can assure you, head coach Ryan Gieselman loves that. He loves that this team is now, some people would say, is under pressure, but they're in a good spot. I think they're going to get a win against Southern Wayne coming up this Friday.
I agree with that. And you know what? I had a conversation with Will London earlier yesterday, and he said, look, we're not losing another game this season. It's definitely going to be challenging for the remainder of the season, but as far as Southern Wayne, I feel like Kinston can definitely get the job done, and they're going to come out of Dudley with a victory and improve to 3-2. The next game, North Lenore taking on Eastern Wayne on the road. That's a game that I'll be at with the possibility of history going because North Lenore has never started 5-0 in program history. Eastern Wayne is 0-4. The Hawks defeated Southern Wayne 14-13. The Warriors fell to Green Central 8-6. The last time these two teams played was 2016, and Eastern Wayne squeaked out a 14-6 victory.
And this will also be North Lenor's 3rd game in 8 days, so they're kind of having a gauntlet right now. And just starting with some of the coaches, even after last night game, they said coming in that they were kind of concerned that it was a trap game. And you could say the same thing about this game, but if North Lenor's defense can get Eastern Wayne's offense off the field early, force a quick 3-and-out, and let North Lenor's offense have a chance to kind of take control, run some plays, see what they like, I think North Lenore will have no chance or will have no problem going 5-0 for I believe the 6th time in program history or 5th time.
No, North Lenore has never gone 5-0 in program history.
Never gone 5-0 in
Never.
program history?
Never.
Wow. Well, I think they have a good chance of doing it Friday night against the Eastern Wayne Warriors.
We'll see what happens there. Spring Creek at South Lenore. Spring Creek 1-3, South Lenore 1-2. The Blue Devils fell to Princeton 48-15. The Gators fell to Hopton 56-27. And the last time these two teams played, South Lenore 52-0 over Spring Creek.
Well, like I said earlier, for head coach Jeremy Joyner and his Blue Devils, this is a great opportunity to have a bounce back game. You know, this is a Spring Creek team that's still trying to find their identity a little bit. For South Lenore, they're just trying to build on what they've been executing the past couple of years. And like I said, you're starting to see the competition level rise out there at that high school. And I think South Lenore has a pretty good running team this year. I mean, you saw that against Jones Senior. So same thing. They can kind of work their offense, see what plays they want to use. I think South Lenore will come out with a win.
Definitely. Now let's kind of go to private school a little bit. And we have right here in Kinston the number 1 and number 2 teams, according to Max Preps, in 8-man football. Starting off with the Patriots, they're ranked number 1. They had a good week last week, defeating Cary Christian 14-13, and then defeating St. David's 54-40. Now they're going up against a John Paul team that has never, ever had a varsity football season, but they are 1-2, defeated Wilson Community Christian 68-8 in their season opener. They lost to Cary Christian 28-22 last Friday.
But when it comes down to it, if Trey McLaurin has another game like he did at St. David's, and then you also add Reynolds Behringer into the mix to get some good pass plays in there, John Paul, if there's their first year with a football team, it's going to be hard to beat the number 1 team in the state for private school football. So I think Parrott, without a doubt, is going to get this game, but he's going to come out of this game with a win.
Without question. I think it'll probably be a little tough early on, but I feel like Perry will get out with the victory. And now, Bethel Christian, they're going on their first road game this year. They're taking on Wayne Christian / Goldsboro Homeschool. Bethel Christian 3-0 have outscored their first 3 opponents by a score of 196-22, which is just crazy in its own right. Of course, they beat Northeast Hobgood Academy, the 2-time defending champions, 60-22. The Eagles defeated Wilson Community Christian 66-8. And the last time these two teams played, Bethel Christian won 36-6 on September 29th, 2017.
Another thing to go back to, Britt Crowder once again is doing a great job with his program out there at Bethel Christian Academy. They're 3-0 right now. They're in a good spot. And same thing kind of like with Parrott. If Bethel's Josh Sutton has another breakout game like he did this past Friday, Bethel's got in the bag. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns for a total of 316 yards. And Bethel's defense did a great job as well in that game. So I think Bethel has a good chance of winning this football game Friday night.
Yeah, I know, like, we looked at Josh Sutton, 22 carries, 316 yards, but what the defense has done over the past few games, I know guys like Connor Williams, who also plays quarterback, Zach Boyd, Rodney Warren. I mean, Bethel Christian has a lot of talented players out there, and I feel like this team could not only win the championship, but go undefeated and do it relatively convincingly.
Absolutely.
So going back into public school now, Farmville Central 0-4 taking on Green Central, who just won their first game under new head coach Jay Wilson. The Rams won 8-6 over Eastern Wayne. The Jaguars fell to Aiden Grifton 40-12 last week. And the last time these two teams played, and the last three matches have been close, decided by 7 points or fewer. But the last time these two teams played, Green Central won 20-16 last year.
And shout out to Jay Wilson, our first ever guest that was on the Floor Show podcast. Congratulations to him picking up his first win in his coaching career out there at Green Central. With this game, it definitely won't be his last, and I think Friday he's going to get his second one just because this is a big rivalry game. I think earlier in the season, Green Central was kind of struggling to find out what plays they need to run and kind of find a key player to go to in a lot of ball games, but I think they found that in that game against Eastern Wayne this past Friday. And Jay Wilson knows that if he can beat your rival at home, that's just going to get the fans to buy into the hype, and I think the players know that as well. So I think Green Central is going to get the win on Friday night.
Without question. Now, it's been really tough for Green Central offensively because they lost such a great running back in Knowledge Branch. He's out for the remainder of the season. So other guys have had to step up. I know like Cole Dawson, Zachville Smith, that connection through the air is going to have to be big for the Rams for the remainder of the season, but I feel like Green Central will be able to get this one. Now, moving on. The other undefeated team in the Eastern Carolina Conference, Aiden Grifton, 3-0, have outscored their opponents by a wide margin. Only allowed 20 points in their three victories, and they're taking on a North Pitt team that's 0-3. This will be their third Eastern Carolina Conference opponent. They've lost to Washington and Kinston already this season. The Chargers beat Farmville Central 40-12. The Panthers fell to South Central 44-30.
Well, it's no question the Chargers are always sneaky good when it comes to the football season that they have each year, and especially when it gets into Eastern Carolina Conference play. And, I mean, so far, it just hasn't even been close with any team that they've played. And I think the same thing will happen this Friday night as they go against North Pitt. I mean, you see North Pitt, they're 0-3 right now. They're struggling to find their identity. They've lost to Kinston High already this season. And Aiden Grifton, with just the hot streak they're on right now, I think it's going to continue. And I think the Chargers will get it done Friday night.
The one thing about North Pitt that I haven't seen North Pitt play, but I will say this. They were close against Washington in the first half. They were kind of feisty against Kinston in the first half. And then things just kind of fall apart. I didn't have the opportunity to see everything that happened with South Central, but, to only lose by 14 is pretty impressive against a team that is pretty solid in South Central. So I feel like it may be close early, but Aiden Grifton should come out with a victory in front of the home crowd. And the final game on our schedule, Jones Senior 0-3 against Rosewood, who was 3-1. The Trojans fell to Union 58-6, was able to score their first points of the season, and Rosewood defeated Pender 53-0 last week.
Well, Jones Senior is one of those football programs where it's just never give up. I mean, it seems like the roster keeps getting smaller and smaller out there each year, but you couldn't tell with how much effort and how much heart those kids put into every play that they have out there. In Jones County. And Jones Senior, I got to give all the credit in the world to the head coach for how well he does on making sure those kids stay in the right mindset each season. They're 0-3 right now, and as much as I'd love to take them, I got to give it to Rosewood. I think Rosewood is just going to outmatch them, and it really is hard when you have a roster. Is it 15 this year?
I think they're up to maybe 16 or 17 now.
Either way, it's still hard when you have a limited amount of subs that you can go to in a football game. And so I think Rosewood's going to come away with a win.
You know what? It's crazy how time flies sometimes, because I had a conversation with Malik, Cadre, and Zach Brooks yesterday on Twitter, just kind of looking at, where the program was back in 2015 and 2016 when they didn't have a whole lot of people either. I think the most they had on the team was, 22 or 23 players. And they were able to get consecutive 6-win seasons, win a playoff game in each season. And, in fact, back in 2012, the last time the Jones Senior and Rosewood played, the Trojans lost 48-17, but it was in the second round of the 1A playoffs. So I was telling them that it can be really cyclical as far as, how things can go. And right now, Jones Senior, they're having a tough time, but as long as the players continue to follow Coach Tyler Hale, I feel like good things can happen in the future.
And I have no doubt that program will get back on track here in a little bit in the upcoming seasons.
Okay, well, that is the list. And listen, please, if you're gonna follow the games, we'll have reporters at most of these games, but if you're looking for the scores, all you have to do is hit hashtag Neuse News Sports on Twitter, and Neuse News Scores on Twitter, and everything will be right there for you. So, Graham?
I was going to say, Jeans, it's been a while since we sat at this table and microphones in front of us, but I'm glad that we're doing it again.
It's the first time I've been in a suit doing this, too. So
I was going to say, this man looks like he's straight on Sports Center right now. I mean, you got to give him credit for how well he dressed today. I feel way overdressed, honestly.
I'm just on my Stan Verrett grind today.
I love it.
But listen, again, NeuseNews.com. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please go ahead and do that. We'll have game coverage all over the place. Again, this is June the 3rd.
I'm Graham Hill.
And this is the Neuse News Sports Show.